guys notice anything different today?
Yeah, I got a haircut. That's what. Yeah.
Definitely.
No, it's nice.
Scooter, you're looking good yourself.
Scooters, but there's a closet behind you. Usually, it's a different room. Looks like.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, yeah. So that's nice. Tree, what's going on with you?
Not much, man. I mean, just dealing with the grind, just being busy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hear you.
Yeah, it's
football season, man. It's just
oh yeah, baseball season too. Okay.
Oh yeah, baseball season. Can't forget about baseball season
and hockey coming up too.
Oh, hockey. Yeah, no, can't forget about hockey.
Yeah, totally. I mean, how's your channel been doing, Tom? It seems like you've been popping.
Yeah, no, things have been going well. It's just Sunday through Wednesday, I'm working at least 12-hour days. Like it's just
dude, I know
it's
the
crazy.
feeling, man.
But
dude, I don't blame you. But at the end of the day, you just gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to yet another edition of Clickbait Sports. Brandon Perna's not here today because I don't know why.
Hangover, but celebrating a win.
Oh, right. I'll see him later when we're streaming. But joining me is one urinating Tree. Yeah, right there. Boom, boom, boom.
My team sucks.
This way, of course, we got the one and only Scooter Magruder. And then on the top, this little diagonal piece up here. So 5 lost and had to get punished, and because of that, he had to dress up as Dr. Funke from Arrested Development and paint himself blue. So
I have a question. Did you get run over by Henry Winkler in the parking lot?
I was going to ask if he was feeling blue after the Giants game.
Listen, I just blew myself. Ready for this. This is the worst punishment I have ever experienced. This is awful.
He's Dr. Manhattan from Wish.com.
I was trying to think.
He's the Temu version of Dr. Manhattan. He's the guy that comes into ship.
I have to tell you, when I put this on, about 5 minutes into it, it started to itch so bad. Like, I thought that I would not make it to the show. Like, I was like, I'm going to have to shower during the show because this is bad.
Listen,
where did you get the paint from? Like, where did you?
You just go to Home Depot and buy regular paint?
Yes, regular blue paint, of course. No, I went on as soon as the show ended last week. Here, actually, I'll get it.
I love how you saw this play streak.
I wasn't able to get the back.
So we got to zoom in on this. Zoom in on that. Look at that. Oh,
so I wasn't able to do because I was going to ask one of my neighbors to come, but that would have been just weird.
No.
To be like, hey, I need you to paint my back. But here's this. It's like regular Spirit body paint. This is what I guess a Buffalo Bills fan or a really dedicated Giants fan would wear. But yeah, I started itching so bad before the show. But yeah, I thought I ordered 4 of these thinking that I would need a lot to do my body. I only need 1. So.
Wow.
All of you that want to join the Blue Man group,
you could return the other 3.
Or you might need them.
Think of it this way. Just say your back was covered, but like Daniel Jones, you got sacked 10 times on Monday night and it was gone. Just say it like that. It's not bad.
You guys aren't going to make me do the whole show like this, are you?
Yes.
Well, what are you going to do? Go shower?
I could right now. I really want to shower so bad. Thank God I don't have to or something. This would be terrible. But
you know what else was terrible?
The Giants giving him any time.
The Giants performance. Let's just dive straight into that game. Seattle versus the Giants, 24-3. Daniel Jones sacked 27 times. What is going on with your Giants, Five? Let's talk about it.
All right. Well, when you don't have Saquon, there's no defenses can just pin their ears back because they're sending Mike Fires, they're sending Ed Heat, they're sending everybody every time, and there's no one elusive like Saquon that's going to make a miss. Now, you could discount that and say, hey, in the Cowboys game, y'all had Saquon and you didn't score any points. So something is just fundamentally broken. You know, Nick Gates is gone. He was a big space eater in the middle. The Giants don't have really – Glowinski's a turnstile. Evan Neal is developing like a Polaroid in the dark. And Andrew Thomas isn't there. So they're completely discombobulated on the offensive line. It's hard to – and it's
Aren't
hard
Polaroids developed in the
Yeah, I was going to say, those aren't done in dark. That's just, it just comes out and eventually you shake it. You're talking about just like regular photographs. You have to go into the dark room. And then
Yeah, you got to go in the fancy room.
Listen, everything that I say cannot be taken seriously. I am painted blue in shorts in my
Is this a bigger issue though? Brian Dable seen on the sidelines, just irate. He's throwing his iPad all over the place. He goes from coach of the year to whatever this is right now. What is going on with Brian Dable in your estimation, Five?
So Dable didn't throw that pick, right? I think Daniel Jones knows what he's supposed to do, which was throw to the open guy. Like you saw that he should have recognized that he was being played inside, and he just threw the ball to the back shoulder where it should not have been, and the guy just took it right back to the house. And that
he
was
never took his eyeballs off the receiver.
The other thing is the Giants are getting in holes quickly, and they don't have an offense that is built to climb out of holes.
Speaking of
today are just gold.
Speaking of
y'all are killing it. Audience today is killing it.
I want to say
they came to play.
How do you feel about Evan Neal's comments yesterday about how a lion does not concern himself with the opinions of sheep, trying to imitate Tywin Lannister, even though he doesn't block anything like Tywin Lannister?
I saw that
and said that the haters are apparently flipping burgers and hot dogs at a fast food restaurant.
He has since apologized. He has apologized.
But you saw what Saquon said. He said, hey, you don't really want to pick a battle with the fans, which is absolutely right. Like, you need to go about your business as an NFL player. Typically, the smart thing to do is just put your head down, get better, improve, and let the haters and the people, like, you need to just concentrate on your job and not worry about what everybody's saying. But I get how Evan Neal's frustrated. I mean, he's looked like ass, and a lot of people are on him for, being this huge, first round, fifth overall pick.
Sure. Big
pick. They and when there's other talent out there that, I wouldn't say has developed to be better, but remember Andrew Thomas started slow his first year, but second year he kind of got it. Neal.
You have to consider too, how much of this is him being a left tackle in college and converting to right tackle?
I don't know. Like, if you're an athlete, do they make him go over to the left side and be a left guard? Why isn't he playing left tackle then? Right. In what's his name's absence? Like, obviously there must be some type of skill limitation there that is keeping him from, why isn't he filling in for Andrew Thomas that's funny.
Sorry, it was a fitty for the kitty, so I had to poop.
Yeah. For the kitty. I don't know. Like, it's hard to explain why he's not developing. He could be one of those players that, even Eric Flowers, it took him 6 years, but Eric Flowers eventually got the league. I just don't, he's been bad. Like, it's not his ability. It's not his size or anything. He's just late. He's late on a lot of, if you look at the film of Neal, like, he's just, the defenders are by him, and they figured out a bunch of weaknesses of his where he's biting on a bunch of moves, and he's not getting in position quick enough. And let's
talk big picture though. Okay. Big picture. You got 2 very tough games coming up. You are one of the worst teams in the league, but yet if the season ended today, you would only have the 10th overall pick. You signed Daniel Jones to all this money. Is it time to cut bait right now? Very strong QB class coming out in this draft year. Do you pick up one of these quarterbacks in this draft and say, take your money and go Daniel Jones?
I mean, you're kind of stuck for at least one more year, right? Like you gave him all this money. A lot of it's guaranteed. You got to get through at least the guaranteed portion. You don't want to pay a guy to sit. You don't want a celebrity backup. Daniel Jones he's been bad, but he's not been the entire problem.
He's meh. That's really Daniel Jones. Like if you want the definition of mid in a dictionary, a picture of Daniel Jones is right next to that definition as an example.
Is Daniel Jones mid? Or does he not have any time to throw the football? And it doesn't matter who's at quarterback; they're going to suck because the Giants just are doing a poor job at protecting whoever's back.
If you watch the games, like Jones, when he doesn't have time, he just takes off. Right? He's taking off, and that's been effective. But that can only work for so long, right? And then he has to throw at some point. Like you see where they were able to shuffle the ball between the 20s, and I've said this: like a deficiency is a deficiency. Because say you get down to the red zone, now you have to do something, right, to score. And then his obviously his lack is with the passing game right now, and that's super concerning. I don't know if he's entirely the problem though, but I'm not happy. We're 1-3. We could be one of the worst teams in the league right now. We could be.
We'll see how it plays out. You got the Dolphins coming up here soon. We will be in prayer for the New York Giants. Another team that is in need of a lot of prayer as well. That is your Pittsburgh Steelers tree. Let's talk about that game. You lost to the Texans. Whose fault was it?
It was everything. They had no game plan for CJ Stroud. The defense couldn't get pressure on an O-line that was down 4/5 of their starters and was starting Kendrick Green, who sucked for the Steelers. He's also out for the year, by the way. He got injured during the game. So they were down to a third-string left tackle, third-string left guard. You couldn't get pressure on him. CJ Stroud looks really good. I will say that.
He does. He looks really good.
He looks like he could be a gem. I'll give it a little time, but I think like he's really turned around their fortunes for the most part. But at the same time, you're giving up big gains on screens, tight end screens. Like the defense looks out of sorts. The offense is puke. They're trying the same plays over and over again. They tried that deep ball they did in Oakland, but they realized, oh, wait, the Texans defense is not the Raiders, and they're not going to bite on it. So you fall into double coverage, get intercepted. They decide. Matt Canada came out and pretty much said this team's apparently not built for coming back, which destroys the whole point of being an offense of sorts. Like Tomlin came out and he says he wants the fan base fat, sassy, and spoiled. But am I fat, sassy, and spoiled for wanting an offense that can throw the ball or pass it or run it more than 10 yards a drive? Like, is that entitlement? I don't think so. I mean, he also got Pickett injured. You have 4th and 1, you have a shotgun, and Pickett, like, it's pretty much a deer in headlights at this point. He's skittishly running out of the pocket. Dan Moore's out, and Broderick Jones, he did not look good for his first start. He looked like he was just very green, which was strange because he was supposed to be one of the more NFL-ready tackles in this draft. This was probably one of the worst losses in recent memory for the Steelers. They just got smacked. DeMeco Ryans straight up pantsed Mike Tomlin on television. And we have Baltimore next week. We're probably going to be kissing the titties. Mitch Trubisky will be starting as well as dealing with a few injuries. And
didn't he just get upgraded or no?
He has a bone bruise, but he was still injured. So, like, fortunately, it's not a major injury, but he might not start this week. It depends.
Speaking of start or not, have you guys heard of this Deshaun Watson drama? Have you guys been following that at all with Stefanski and Watson?
Well, apparently the shoulder's having issues, but, like, here's the thing. Joe Burrow is going out there with a messed up calf, and it's destroying the Cincy offense. He should not be starting. Derek Carr had a shoulder injury. He was supposed to be week to week, came back last week, even though it didn't mean anything because they're run by Pete Carmichael and a bunch of Bears on tricycles, even though the Bears on tricycles could probably run an offense better than the Saints have. I will say that Deshaun Watson going out like that and saying, nah, that it shows strange character. Baker Mayfield would have come out there with an amputated limb. He would have had maybe just like a bear trap on his leg. His left arm's gone. He would have still been throwing the ball, probably interceptions, but he still would have been throwing.
Do you guys think that the Browns regret moving on from Baker Mayfield at this point? He's doing a great job over with Tampa Bay.
I don't think they regret it because I just don't think it was going to work out there. I think that relationship was so done at that point. So I don't think it's regret. They may regret paying Deshaun Watson all that money. Like that could be a likely regret. But I don't think it's necessarily, oh man, I wish we had Baker back. Because again, that relationship at the end was so bad, and like it's tanked, and I don't think there was anything that was going to save it.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the Aaron Rodgers relationship with the Packers. So let's move on to the Packers, by the way. They had the Lions. Let's talk about this game. What happened in this game? For those who didn't get a chance to watch this, Tom Grassi, what went wrong and how did it go wrong?
Bro, we got our ass beat. Aaron Jones was back, but was not even really utilized. There was no run blocking. We have no run game. We have no run defense. Dave Montgomery scored 3 touchdowns. We had no offensive line. The whole left side of our O-line's hurt, but Elton Jenkins, thankfully, is back. But Dave Bakhtiari's likely out for the year. Yeah. So that's not really great. But yeah, so we had no O-line. The Lions are a very good football team. Their pass rush is like scary good. On top of that, like their offense, besides that first drive with Goff throwing interception, was really efficient. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, like people complain about Jahmyr Gibbs not getting involved more. Like they didn't have to. Like David Montgomery was just ripping off yards every single time. So the Packers have no run game right now. They have no run defense. Thankfully, it looks like everybody's going to be back except for Bakhtiari, obviously. Everyone's going to be back for Monday night against the Raiders, which should be a good like get right game. And then they have a bye week, which is desperately needed. So yeah, it was just we got our ass kicked. There.
I have one concern. What's going on with Quay Walker? This is like a repeated time where he's made a boneheaded mistake, which pretty much ended your game. Yeah, like what's going on with him?
I'm not worried about him at all. I mean, like obviously last year you have the 2 ejections, like pushing the people that he's not supposed to be pushing. And like I really think like he's learned from that. This one was just like he messed up. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the same degree like it was last year. It wasn't like pushing trainers or anything like that. He jumped over and he shouldn't have done it. And the thing is, like, Quay Walker arguably is like the best guy on our defense on Thursday night. He had 19 tackles. I think he had 10 solo tackles. And like he is that guy. And I think that he could develop into like a really good player. And I think he's already on his way there. It's just a matter of like reducing the mistakes. And because if he like did something like he did last year, then I've been like, okay, like now this is a really big problem. But if it's something like that where nobody got hurt, he didn't push anyone he wasn't supposed to, I think he's gonna be all right.
Okay.
That's fair. Now looking forward to your next game. I think you guys got the Raiders coming up next.
Monday night, baby.
What are your expectations for this game?
This will probably be Josh Jacobs' comeback game because he hasn't been doing well all year, but we have no run defense. But no, we should be winning. Like we should be winning that game. Their defense is terrible. Yeah, like the Raiders' defense is really, really
their
bad.
O line is terrible, dude. Did you see how many sacks they gave up to Khalil Mack last week?
Yeah.
They got eaten alive.
Six. True story. But yeah, I think this should be like a get right game. Obviously, Devontae Adams is going to be concerned, but dude, if Jair Alexander's back, and I'm pretty sure he is, watching Jair Alexander on Devontae, like they used to do in practice, like that's going to be a lot of fun.
Is this the first time Devontae's played against his old team, his former team? Is this the homecoming game?
Yes.
All right.
Well, it's not a homecoming game because they're playing in Vegas, but yeah.
I think Devontae's upset about how he's being used. I think Jacobs is too. Peters apparently likes something on Instagram bashing the Raiders organization. Like it's getting messy over there, which is predictable because it's Josh.
Yeah, you're not surprised.
Yeah, Brandon would be rubbing his nipples right now, be like, "Oh."
That's what I was surprised by, though. I was very surprised by the fact that the Broncos were able to come back. Let's talk about the Broncos-Bears game in honor of Brandon Perna getting their first win of the season. Did you guys see this game? Because I actually watched this game, and it was wild that the Bears were able to give up a 3-touchdown lead and let the Denver Broncos come back and get their first win of the game. Watching this game, what stood out to you guys?
Vance Joseph's defense is terrible. They made Justin Fields look like he was back at Ohio State. The Bears' defense might be even worse because they have poor schematics. Their front seven has not developed at all. They're dealing with injuries in the secondary. Matt Eberflus is an idiot. You have a 4th and 1 at a field goal range at the 18-yard line. You go out a shotgun, you take the ball out of Justin Fields' hands. Oh, no, a Bears offensive lineman missed an assignment. Where have we seen this before? Oh, right, the past 3 years. Like, that was completely on coaching. You might have wasted the best performance of Justin Fields' career because he's not facing a Vance Joseph defense. Like, everything's
Didn't
out
he
of sorts.
start like 20 for 20 in that
Yep.
game?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
He
was
broke
good.
the franchise record.
It was
he
going
literally
back
broke
to
the
all.
franchise
It was like it was back at Ohio State.
why would
That's
you
what Vance
not
Joseph
kick
defense does.
the field goal? That's all I'm trying to figure out.
And you were
I'm
tied.
watching that.
I'm trying to start a public service campaign for NFL head coaches called "Take the Points," and
They're not going
so
to, though.
so many people, so many coaches just don't ever take the points unless you're Josh McDaniels when you take the points at the wrong time. But so many coaches, when they're in a position to lead or get closer, think that keeping the ball is, or like almost always, if you miss a field goal or you pass up that opportunity and it doesn't work out, those 3 points hang for the rest of the game.
Yes.
And it almost invariably ends up being the margin of which you lost from.
Mhm.
Would you, if you were the head coach of the Bears, would you have kicked the field goal or would you have run a different play
Canada
on
offense.
4th down and 1?
You got to execute, right? Like
Because
go ahead.
Bears fans are definitely fans of execution right now. That's all I'm going to say.
I would have taken the points because at that point,
Lions.
I'm gonna make the Broncos beat us. I'm not gonna have us lose to the Broncos because we don't kick the field goal, and I'm gonna make them drive the length of the field and score against me. So I just thought that was very peculiar. Very peculiar.
But it's like everything in Chicago is going wrong, right? Like Tevin Jenkins finally, like he looks like he's going to play tonight, which is like a good, like it's a good sign for them. There you go. But
honestly, you need the cap and you're Papa Smurf, dude.
That's it.
Well,
That's
let me
it.
see if I can find. Hold on.
You trying to woo Mrs. Smurf? Is that what you're going to do, Lady Smurf?
But the issue is like the defense is bad, the O-line is bad, the play calling is bad. Like freaking Chase Claypool, who they traded the 32nd overall pick for. Now
we warned you.
Home.
We warned you,
Yeah,
Chicago.
I mean, again,
we warned you.
Thank you, Chicago, for taking that away from the Packers because the Packers wanted to make that trade.
Mhm.
And so, like, I'm so glad they did it. It's just everything is going wrong. So
Now-
I mean, at this point, like, they're playing the Commanders tonight, which is a winnable game. But like, I think the Commanders are going to beat them.
Commanders are a good team. Like they're
They're-
actually pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, their O-line is not good, but
Yeah.
there's no pass rush that the
Their
Chicago
D-line
has,
is
so.
though. Their D-line is very good. They held the
Mhm.
Eagles in check pretty
The
much.
Bears
the whole game.
O-line is. Oof,
Speaking of the
it's
Eagles, are they fraudulent?
I don't think they're.
I don't know if
Uh,
they're
They
fraudulent.
are barely
I
winning
just think-
games. They should be dominating.
They're
Are they
just not playing a full
fraudulent?
60 minutes. It's like the
I don't know
2017
if they're
Steelers. You play down.
fraudulent.
I don't
They're
think it's
just-
fraudulent.
Overrated, I would say, because people have them like 4th, 5th, 3rd best team right now. You look at the power ranking. I don't really know if they're that good, because they really haven't been tested. Everyone wants to talk about the Cowboys haven't played anyone. Who have the Eagles played? So when they get tested, and they will have an opportunity to prove themselves this season because they have a 4 or 5 game stretch, which is pretty brutal. They play the Dolphins, they play the Bills, they play
fun
the
game.
Cowboys. So they'll have an opportunity, just like the Dallas Cowboys will have an opportunity this Sunday to prove to people if we are fraudulent or not. Ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys play the 49ers this Sunday. But let's talk about the past game last week, the Patriots game.
No.
We destroyed them. We destroyed the Patriots. This is what I was expecting us to do in the Arizona Cardinals game. And I don't know what went wrong during the Cardinals game, but it seems like we bounced back in this Patriots game and we look like the defense of old. I don't know if any of you guys had an opportunity to watch this game, but it was smooth sailing. Everything except for the first drive for the Patriots was pretty much thwarted, which I didn't even get to see because the Commanders and the Eagles went into overtime and they weren't showing the Cowboys game for some reason. But everything other than that first drive, the Cowboys defense shut down. 14 points again by the Cowboys defense. Our defense is scoring pretty much as our offense. And a lot of pundits nationally look at this as like, oh, this is a bad thing. Oh, Dak's not – we don't need Dak to score that many points. We need to keep doing what we've been doing. Lean on the defense. Don't put Dak in bad situations. That's all the Cowboys have to do to continue winning. And I'm very excited to see how we perform against this high-powered 49ers offense, especially against Christian McCaffrey, who has been going off.
My question is, what happened with Mac Jones? It seemed like he was unable to even make a decent read or throw a football properly in that last game. He got benched for Zappi, and Bill O'Brien saying it's uncharacteristic. What happened with him? Was he just stymied by the defense, or is it just something with his mechanics?
It's just, in my opinion, I just think the pressure was so much. Like, he was getting pressured a lot against this Cowboys defense. And so because of that, he was missing wide open receivers. I just think he was in his head, honestly, with Micah coming almost every single play. To me, that's what I think it was. Because you look at how he was playing, he had receivers who were open. He had opportunities to make first downs. I just think it was a mental thing for him. He was just 1 second away from getting destroyed every play.
And plus
Scooter.
their defense is dealing – oh, go ahead, man.
Go ahead. No, Scooter, do you have any cavities? Do you have any cavities?
No, I've never had a cavity.
I mean, because the Cowboys have played nothing but cupcakes in this first 4 games. So you guys should have some missing teeth right now. Like, look at the you played. You're like sweating these two. You played the Giants, who suck. You played the Jets, who are trash. You played the Cardinals, who beat you. They're trash. And then you beat up on a Patriots team that's not even good. Like,
okay,
so we're down their 2 best defenders now.
Let's dissect everything. Let's dissect everything you just said. First and foremost, the Jets are not a bad team. The Jets' defense is amongst the best defense in the league. The Jets beat the Bills. Hold on.
But they also don't have a quarterback.
The Jets beat the Bills with no quarterback. And the Bills, people have the Bills ranked as one of the best teams in the league.
They are now.
Yes, we lost to the Cardinals. That was a trap game. The Patriots stymied the Eagles.
Just because it's a trap game, Scooter, doesn't mean it's okay. Like, you could argue that Week 1 Bills-Jets was a trap game.
Okay, maybe it was. So does that make the Bills fraudulent? That's all I'm saying.
They have redeemed
themselves. Look at who the 49ers
themselves.
have played. Look at who the 49ers have played. And you're going to tell me the 49ers have played anyone? Look at who the Eagles have played. You're going to tell me the Eagles have played anyone? Look at who the Chiefs have played. They've lost as well. So what I'm saying is there's no team in the league right now that looks unbeatable, that looks far and away above every other team. So if we're talking about the upper echelon teams, the Cowboys is in that because no top team has played anyone. If we're talking about who have you played, who have the 49ers played? No one. So it's the
Chiefs
same.
Played the Lions and they lost. The Lions are good.
Like,
You're
honestly,
making my point.
One of the teams that like looks the best in the league right now is the Bills. I mean, like, yes, the level of their competition wasn't really good for the past weeks, but then they beat the crap out of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So like, that's impressive. My point, like, I don't think the Cowboys are necessarily fraudulent. I think though, if they lose big to the 49ers, those voices are just like those outside voices are just going to get louder because the point that's being made is like the Cowboys schedule. And I see what you're talking about, Scooter. Is like nobody's really played anybody. We're still trying to figure out who each team is, right? There's only a handful of teams that we're like, oh yeah, they're really, really bad. But for the Cowboys, if they lose to who we know is a good team and it's a bad score, like it's multiple scores, then it's like, okay, well now there's a microscope on the Cowboys of like, okay, well now they haven't played anybody. They're not beating good teams. They lost to the Cardinals. And again, this just happens because it's a week-to-week league and it's week 5, right? But I think that's where, if they lose, that's where this is going.
I mean, I 100% agree with you. We're going to find out a lot about this Dallas Cowboys team. I will say also during that Cardinals game, we were missing 2 Hall of Fame offensive linemen, and our center was also out. The 49ers game, it looks like Tyron Smith will not be available. He's been iffy for the past couple of weeks. As long as we have Zach Martin, though, as long as we have our center, our starting center, Tyler Biadasz, I think we will be able to move the football effectively on offense. So we'll see how that plays out with the injuries.
We're
Micah
dunking on you.
also has been kept out of practice, so that is very important. We're going to need Micah for this game. Definitely get after Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy has – I was watching one of the recap videos. He's been able to sit in the pocket the longest out of any quarterback in the league.
Throw no interceptions either. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when I say the 49ers have not been tested, they have not seen a defense like the Cowboys defense. So this will be a good test for all sides here.
I'm concerned about your run defense. Like against Christian McCaffrey, I'm concerned about that.
The thing is, I'm concerned against every team that has to play Christian McCaffrey. I am concerned for that team. That's just a generational talent right there in McCaffrey. And listen, I think Dan Quinn knows what he's up against. I like Dan Quinn, and I think he'll be up to the task. And hopefully, as long as their quarterback isn't as mobile as Josh Dobbs, we'll be able to get the job done. We'll see. We will see. But let's move on and let's preview this Thursday night football game.
Have we talked about who the worst team in the NFL is?
No, we have not gotten to our title yet.
I'm
curious. Spive, do you want to start? Like, who do you think, like, right now is the worst team in football?
Who's playing the worst or who is the worst? I mean, you could make a really strong argument for the Giants because, I mean, even in their one game that they won, they were trailing for most of that game. They've only led at any point for 19 seconds, I think, for the entire or a minute 19. Their offensive line is terrible. Their defense has been bad. They have one win, but I really can't put them below the Bears. Like the Bears are really bad. But the Giants are right there. The Giants are going to be probably in 2 weeks. We'll probably say that the Giants are the worst because they'll be 1-6 or 1-5. In a couple weeks. They're playing the Bills and the Dolphins back to back. Now, sometimes weird stuff happens where like the Giants somehow come out and beat the Bills because maybe Brian Daboll knows them a little too well and knows where they're weak. But in 2 weeks, get back to me in 2 weeks. The Giants might be the worst team in the NFL.
I don't know about that, dude.
Sad times.
I don't know about that. I'm only saying this. I am not going to say the Bears. I'm going to say the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to be the edgy hipster pick.
Okay.
And the Panthers have been going under the radar. They've been a disaster the last couple of years.
Defense is
Matt Rule. I mean, their defense is good, but their offense has been a mess. Since
terrible.
Matt Rule came in, it's bad. And then Bryce Young just looks like a deer in headlights. There's no scheming. There's no proper wide receiver separation. They're getting nothing going in the running game. Their offensive line's a joke. Bryce Young's averaging at least one brutal fumble a game. They can't get anything in the red zone. They can't move the ball. And quite frankly, I have to wonder what Frank Reich and Scott Fitterer are doing. Fitterer believes that a number one wide receiver is going to fix this. Is that really going to fix the terrible O-line or the no running game or Bryce Young being in the completely wrong system for what he is? Is that going to solve it? No, of course not. Because quite frankly, you're wasting a quality defense, and that defense can't hold forever. You outchoked the Vikings. That's all that needs to be said.
Like, the Panthers, they've invested heavily into that defense. Like, it is a young squad. Like, and again, like, I like their defense a lot. I think the play calling has been not good. There's no weapons for Bryce Young whatsoever. I mean, like, he's throwing at Adam Thielen. And like, I like Jonathan Mingo, who came out of college, like, in the draft. I think that was a good pick for him. But like, also, he has no time. Like, Sticky Icky, who we like all heralded, like, because he was great last season. He has looked terrible.
The whole line looks bad.
Like, the whole line is just not good. So I think it's like a mix of, you have a rookie QB who was already going to struggle, right? Because of height and like brand new, all that great stuff. Then you put him behind a not great O-line. Then you basically have not too much of a run game and you have no receivers. Like, yeah, it's not going to go well. Scooter, what do you think? Worst team?
I also will be a contrarian here. I can't say it's the Panthers because the Panthers have been competitive. They've just been losing games all of a sudden in the fourth quarter. Like, they've been competitive.
They have no offense.
The Giants suck, but to me, they're also not the worst team because Daniel Jones does suck, but at least he's mobile. All right, he can run that ball. He can run it sometimes.
Oh, Daniel Jones is getting sacked again.
Cat?
Quick. Yeah. You remember that cat in the end zone at MetLife? Same one. They got him.
Is the kitty okay?
I'm gonna be
the cat runs in the end zone.
Well,
that's a touchdown.
I'm gonna say the worst team in the league, despite winning this week, is the Denver Broncos. All right. They got a terrible defense. They literally just released Randy Gregory, who they signed for 5 years, $70 million. That is arguably the worst defense in the league. How do I know this? Because they made Justin Fields look like an all-star quarterback. They won because the other team did something dumb, not because they were the better team, in my estimation.
But they
I'm going with the
Wilson.
Broncos.
Wow.
I'm going with the Broncos as the worst team in the league today, despite winning over the Bears. Because they shouldn't have won over the Bears.
Yeah, I should have lost. And Perna's not here to defend him, so he would probably
agree with how bad the defense is. That went from one of the best units to one of the worst in no time flat with minimal personnel change.
Mind you, 70 points. The Dolphins put up 70 points against that team. So even if Russ is fixed, how are you going to stop the other team from scoring 70 points? Russ can't score 70 points. So to me, the Broncos are still the worst team. They've got a litany of issues over there. We'll be in prayer for them.
Yeah, I hear you. Like, the Broncos, I think, make a strong argument. The thing is, like, Russell Wilson has actually been playing really well, like, especially compared to last year. He does look a lot better. That defense has gone through, so, like, that has been one of the worst, like, from year to year. Like, they were a good squad last season.
Very good.
That defense was really good. And they have just... And it's not even just that, like, they're giving up on plays, too. Like, it's just like, yeah, we don't care.
There's a lot of just people wondering, like, what's going on. A
Yeah.
lot of this happening in the secondary. It's like, what was that guy? It's like, it's poor coaching.
Right now, though, like, I have to go with the Bears just because for that, like, I get what you're saying, Scooter, but, like, they also were responsible for their own tanking, right? So, like, okay, maybe the Broncos, like, shouldn't have won that game. Then the Bears should not lose 28-7. It's like a different team came out during halftime. So I think it's the coaching is not the answer, like all around. And you're looking at OC, you're looking at head coach, you're looking at DC, you're looking
DC's
at owner,
already gone.
You're looking potentially at GM, like you're looking at all of these things, right? You haven't won a game in almost a full year. Like, and right now, like, let's be very honest, folks. If you take the Chicago Bears and put them up against any team in the league right now, are you picking them to win?
No.
Are they playing the Giants?
Giants
I really
beat the
think
Bears.
the Giants beat them.
Giants
I
beat the
mean,
Bears.
I think the Giants can beat them.
They might make the Giants O-line look good.
Because
That's
they
how
have
little they're
no
getting into the
pass rush, dude. They have no pass rush. Again,
But they have Yannick Ngakoue, don't you know? He's like 33 and over the hill, but I mean, he's Yannick Ngakoue.
So it's that, right? And Justin Fields, it's not all of his fault. No, he's also not playing well. Let's be very honest, right? He had a good game against arguably the worst defense in the league with the Broncos. But
he still made big mistakes.
But at the end of the day, like, they don't utilize him right, even if he was playing amazingly well. They haven't surrounded him with, like, the talent. They got DJ Moore, but they're not. Even week 2, the Buccaneers know that they're not utilizing DJ Moore right. So it just seems like everything is going wrong for the Bears. And right now, like, they wouldn't be my favorites against any team right now.
And the sad part is they were so optimistic about that team before the year.
Yep.
So optimistic.
Yep.
And it's in the interest of the Bears to continue to be bad for the remainder of this year because, listen, they could realistically have the number 1 and the number 2 overall picks in this coming draft. So I don't see, and I've also said it was reported that if they do get the number 1 draft pick, there is nothing that Justin Fields can do to prevent them from drafting Caleb Williams.
I don't blame him.
Which is sure, but do you have any faith that they're going to develop him? I did a whole video on that. It's like, when is the last time that the Bears have developed a quarterback?
Like Jim Miller is the last one. And that was 20 years ago.
Jim Miller.
They don't they brought in Jay Cutler. They made that trade and it worked out well. And then there was the whole fumbling on if they were going to give him another contract and all that great stuff. But the end of the day, like they could bring in a Caleb Williams. You put him behind that O-line. You still have Luke Getsy back there. You still have Eberflus as your head coach. I don't trust any of that.
I think honestly, I don't know if anyone survives the Bears after this year. And the sad part is they just hit the hard reset button a few years ago, and they might have to do it again just because they messed up so badly on a lot of moves. Like Ryan Poles, we don't know if he's a good GM. He's made a lot of mistakes. Chase Claypool trade for 32nd overall pick. That's your evidence right there. Eberflus looks terrible. He looks like he's a deer in headlights. Fields, he hasn't shown he's the guy. He has flashes. He has talent, but he doesn't have a complete game, and that's not going to lead you anywhere.
I think it's also,
your O-line's a mess. Like your big acquisitions haven't done well. It's all just a wreck.
Well, it's also you have no real run game. Right? No. Because what is the bread and butter of the Bears, right? It's a really good defense, and it's a really good run game.
Rashawn Johnson doesn't look too bad, but that's if he gets blocking.
Sure. So at the end of the day, if you look at the Bears organization and you say, okay, how are we going to win football games? Every time they take the field, I don't know if they know, because it's disorganized, it's ugly. And I think at the end of the day, you put Caleb Williams back there, he's still going to struggle. Like behind that O-line, like with all those play calls, it's not going to go well.
Yeah,
even Perna said this, right? Like he's like, listen, Caleb Williams, even if we got him next year, can't play defense.
The Bears have so many more problems than quarterback. Like they need to fix it. They need to do the opposite, where they fix everything first and then add the quarterback.
Like they do that though. It's not the sexy pick. They're trying to sell tickets.
Yeah, well,
and the sad part is Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. They're going to sell tickets.
Well, that's dumb.
The Bears and Smart don't really combine together. That's all I'm going to say.
You're the GM of the Bears right now. What is the first move that you make?
Nuke button. Fire myself. Fire everyone else around me.
I think, but if you have the first and second overall pick next year, legitimately, what do you do with it? Like, are you trading it for even more than what you got from the Panthers this year? Because if you have the first and second, like, I think I do. I think I trade that first overall pick. Someone gets Caleb Williams, and, like, I draft the second best player in that draft. I get a haul because I need to rebuild. And I know that, like, you have to go get your franchise quarterback, but at the second half of last season, everybody swore that Justin Fields was their franchise quarterback. We're on week 5, and now it's like, well, we don't know now.
The problem is, like, Fields didn't prove himself as a passer. It was because of his feet. That's the reason.
But we were told, well, wait till we get him a wide receiver. We'll wait till we get him an offensive line. But it's more than just that. And, like, even when they brought Trubisky, this is why this is different. When they traded up for Trubisky, Bears fans were like, okay, all right. Like, okay, I don't really think we should have, but, like, okay. They got to the playoffs because Trubisky was mobile. And, like, when they actually
had a defense, they had a good defense.
They had a great defense. They had a great run game. And then they didn't do anything with it. But when they traded up for Fields, it was like the second coming. Legitimately. Yes. They were like, Justin Fields is the Messiah. He is going to save this franchise. He's going to do this, that, and the other thing. And then when last year started, they were like, oh, no, maybe not. And then they started playing, like, calling some more plays of, like, oh, how about we actually utilize him as a runner? And he ran all over people.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said, just wait for the rest of the season. Just wait for the rest of the season. Well, they waited. And then that whole offseason happened. They got hyped. And then week 1 happened, and it hasn't gotten better.
Nope.
Like, it's different now. Like, people are going to lose their jobs.
Guys,
so
there's blue.
Are we saying the Bears are the worst team in the NFL? Right.
I am, yeah.
Wow. Did you say Bears?
Yeah, 5.
I'll agree, Bears.
I said Panthers. Bears are a close number 2, though. They're like 1A, 1B.
One of the worst teams in the league is playing today, though, Thursday Night Football. It's
CMC.
Wait, who was the Thursday Night Football game?
Washington, Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Washington, Chicago. So you'll have a chance to see up close and personal how bad the Bears actually are. What are we thinking for this preview? Do the Bears have a chance against the Commanders?
I think they do. I think they're losing, though.
Yeah, I don't think so, because
I think Sam Howell. Oh, go ahead.
They'll be competitive. Like, again, like if they allow Justin Fields to go out there and run, like, they'll be able to run. They'll be able to do that. But I don't think, even though the Washington Commanders O-line is bad, but then again, I don't even think they're the worst O-line in the division. Sorry, Five. But at that point, I just don't think they're going to be able to do anything on defense. I think Sam Howell has actually looked pretty damn good, especially behind that O-line. They have weapons. They have a good ground game. Brian Robinson's really good. Scary Terry, of course, but Dotson, Curtis Samuel, like they have a good offensive attack. And against a really bad defense, and their D-line is amazing, like it might be a long day.
I think Brian Robinson's going to run for a lot of yards tonight. Whoever, if you're taking projections, take Brian Robinson on the over, because
honestly, I would take McLaurin on the over and Jahan Dotson on the over.
Everybody on the over.
It's going to be ugly, and I mean that O-line, the Bears O-line is going to die, especially behind that front seven of Washington. Oof. Jack Del Rio is probably just licking his chops, like, you're going to have to run for your life, Justin.
Yeah. I try to tell you guys. The Commanders shut down the Eagles. Like, Jalen Hurts was very ineffective against the Commanders' running game.
Except he was throwing to Emmanuel Mosley.
So it's going to be hard work, even if they do call some mobile plays for Justin Fields this game. But I'm rooting for the Bears. I am rooting for you guys just so that the Commanders can take that L. But we'll see how it plays out. Let's get some score predictions, and then we can go to the countdown.
Commanders 30, Bears 10.
38-7 commies. It's going to be like a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, I'm going 31-13. Commanders. Yep.
Let's go 28-25. Bears get their first win of the game. Let's go.
Scooter, you think you're actually winning on Sunday?
Watch Scooter be right.
Yeah, I said, do you actually think you're going to win on Sunday?
Yes, I do. Yes,
actually,
I do.
if
I'm not
Bears
win,
I think they'd be pissed because that means Eberflus stays.
Like,
I do.
Are you going to that game?
Will win. No, I will not be at that game, but I will be at another game. So stay tuned. Stay tuned for that. Reveal coming.
Can't announce it yet. Okay.
Not yet.
We ready to do the countdown?
I think Spiggies are flying.
Ain't nothing wrong with the flying, man. That's what we got to do.
Sure. They beat the. Oh, I was doing donos, so I didn't have a chance. Hold on, here we go. Save the ears. How many points are Bears going to score? Maybe 4. That is going to be bad. And the D-line, Chase Young, the key people. Montez Sweat playing is probably going to spin all over him. We did it. All right.
I'll start. I got 68-98.
Papa Smurf, well, how many you got?
I got 116-34.
131-05. Tom, lay it on us.
336-66.
Not bad. Your punishment is you have to watch the Bears game tonight.
I
know you scream it, but that's a punishment in on its own. Remember how bad last year was? That was a bad game.
Dude, I think every primetime game last year, and I gotta admit, these primetime games are not much better this year.
Dude, Al Michaels, what's the over-under on how many drinks Al Michaels is going to have tonight? It's just sitting there like, are you kidding me?
It's just, I don't want to.
I think Al Michaels will be live betting during the game. Like,
this has been something that has been suggested a million times now about buying like a Brian Branch jersey.
I think it's time. Brian Branch jersey. Lions Brian Branch jersey.
And then you have to wear it through the whole freaking
You know what?
show.
I'll buy a Brian Branch jersey and I'll switch jerseys that I wear during the North Saga, and that will be the jersey go. It'll be a season-long punishment.
Okay.
There you go.
No, I got shorts on, baby. It's 80 degrees here.
It's so nice.
Yeah,
I'm naked.
It's going to get cold here, too. Also, next time you play the Lions, you're wearing that Brian Branch jersey.
Oh, not sure. No, on Thanksgiving? Hell no.
Yes. This has to be a real punishment.
No. I'm wearing it every week. Every week.
No.
Oh, it's not being worn during that.
No, it is. It is.
And I will wear it every week, but I wear it during hell no. Absolutely not.
Honestly, would you rather me get you a Jackson Smith and Jigba jersey?
JSN? I got a JS. I signed a JSN jersey in Seattle.
Jameson
Oh
Williams,
my
we can get
gosh.
one of his jerseys.
Can we
All
just get a close up on 5 one more time before we end this?
Honestly,
Ladies and
the dude
gentlemen.
he looks like the Nightcrawler right now.
This has
He
been
does look like a
Clickbait
Nightcrawler.
Sports. Same time
Where's your tail?
next Thursday.
Well, guess what? Joke is on you folks because I'm buying it from NFL.com. Why am I doing that? Because all the money goes to all 32 teams, which means the Packers are going to get a little bit of it from me buying this Brian Branch jersey.
Oh, go buy some more stock, buddy.
Someone
You a
please
Chinese knockoff
stream-
like the rest of us.
5, what do you got coming
Someone-
out?
I've got stadiums on top of rooftops. Very interesting. There's actually, I found 8 different stadiums that exist on top of buildings. It's really cool. That should be coming out tomorrow.
Tree?
Well, my World Series prediction spectacularly blew up in my face, so I'll be making a video about that probably tonight. Kill me.
Scooter?
We got the Gator pregame prediction. It's homecoming for the Gators, and we got the Cowboys 49ers pregame press conference coming out as well.
There you go. I'll be streaming tonight with Brandon Perna.
Oh,
So
so he couldn't make this show, but he can stream with you. Okay.
I'm not my,
Yeah,
my
I need
I'm
to
not my
take the
Furnace
longest
Cooper.
shower of my life. Can
I'm
we
not my
get
Furnace
this done?
folks. We'll see you next Thursday, maybe
All right.
potentially. I love you. Bye now.
Bye.
Peace.